Today, the great question that we are addressing on this occasion is cheese versus cheese.
Alright folks, listen up. You love shooters, I love shooters, but let's be honest, we're all a bit tired of same old bollocks. What if I told you there's a game out there might just shake up FPS scene? Yep, XDefiant, Underdog or Future. Who knows? But I'm here to tell you why this game's worth fighting for. And no, it's not another bloody CoD clone. Stick around and I'll prove it. But before I get started, don't forget to like, subscribe and all that bollocks. Helps channel grow, and let's face it, you like how I tell it like it is. No bullshit here, folks. Now let's get to it. Right, so let's get into it. First things first, we need to talk about giving XDefiant a fair shot. Yeah, I know, games got bugs. Newsflash, so does every bloody game at launch these days. But instead of jumping on fix it now or I'm uninstalling bandwagon, how about we take a step back and see what devs are actually dealing with, eh? Look, these devs took an engine designed for an MMO, strapped it to high-speed FPS, and did it all with a team that's smaller than your average CoD lobby. 3 years, mate. They had 3 years, while your beloved Treyarch had 4 years and 4,000 devs and a budget that could probably buy a small island nation. And they still served up Black Ops 6, which, let's be honest, ain't exactly groundbreaking. Yet here's XDefiant, scrappy as hell, and dare I say, actually fun. Now I know what you're thinking, but COD's got so much more content at launch. Alright, fair point, but let's talk about Halo Infinite for a sec. Another live service game, delayed for a year. Still launched with crap netcode and bugger all content, but they were given time to sort the mess out. 2 years later, Halo's back in game. So why not give XDefiant same bloody chance? It's got potential, and let's be real, what else are you gonna play? Another CoD remaster? XDefiant's not perfect, but it's trying something different, and that's worth supporting. Cause if we don't, we're just gonna keep getting the same old cookie cutter crap from big studios. And I, for one, am not down for that. So let's tackle elephant in room. XDefiant is just a CoD clone. Now I get it, you see guns, explosions, and some bloke sprinting around like his late foot pub, and your brain goes, oh, it's another CoD wannabe. But let's pump brakes for a second, shall we? Let me break it down for you. Just cause a game shares some DNA with Call of Duty don't mean it's trying to copy it like some knockoff Gucci bag front market. Think of it more like evolution. CoD might be big daddy at FPS games, but XDefiant is scrappy younger sibling who's sick of living in its shadow. Sure, there's similarities, it's an FPS, there are guns and you shoot people, big shocker. But saying XDefiant is just a clone is like saying every rock band is trying to beat Beatles. It's lazy thinking and frankly, it's bollocks. Look at factions, mate. We've got different abilities, tactical playstyles and a whole different vibe. You can't just run and gun like headless chicken in this game. There's strategy involved and dare I say, tactics. Remember those? XDefiant's got a punk rock spirit. It's shaking up formula, trying to do something a bit different, and yeah, maybe it's a bit rough around edges, but that's half at bloody fun. And let's be honest, CoD needs competition. Activision's been coasting on the same formula for years, raking in cash without breaking a sweat. XDefiant might just be kick up arse the need to actually innovate for once. So is it a clone? Nah, it's more like a revolution in meching, and you'd be daft to miss out on it. Now let's talk about big bad wolf in room, Activision. Now I'm not here to slag off Call of Duty for no reason. I've spent more hours in that franchise than I care to admit, but let's face facts. CoD has become McDonald's of FPS games. They've got monopoly. They're serving same Big Mac every bloody year, and you lot are gobbling it up like it's gourmet. But what happens when there's no competition? Stagnation. And that's exactly where we're at. And besides, I prefer Burger King. Look at state of CoD over the last few years. Recycled content, remastered maps, overpriced DLC that should have been included in base game. Yeah, you know, Modern Warfare 3. Just an expensive DLC wearing a full price sticker. And what's next? Another Black Ops with recycled maps from Black Ops 2. Exciting stuff, right? Bloody hell, it's like they're not even trying anymore. Why? Because they don't have to. They've got no real competition, so they're just phoning it in, knowing you'll buy it anyway. But that's where XDefiant comes in. This game isn't just another FPS, it's a bloody wake-up call. A reminder that innovation is still possible in this genre if we actually support it. Activision's been on top for so long they've forgotten what it's like to be hungry. XDefiant could be competition they desperately need, a game that forces them to innovate or get left behind. Think about it. If XDefiant starts to take off, you really think Activision's going to keep serving same old reheated crap? Hell no. They'll be forced to step up the game to actually listen to what players want instead of just counting cash rolling in. And that, my friends, is why XDefiant matters. Not just another shooter, it's spark that could light fire under Activision's arse and get them actually try for a change. So you want better games? Support XDefiant. Show Activision that they're not on a game in town, and that we, as gamers, won't settle for the lazy cookie cutter nonsense anymore. It's time for a change, and XDefiant might just be the game to bring it. Right, let's dive into something that's been pissing me off for years. Mods. Remember the days when we could tweak your favourite games, make them better, add some flavour? Yeah, those days are long gone, thanks to our friends over at Activision. They've got a history of shutting down out that smells even like a mod. But here's kicker. XDefiant is essentially CoD mod we've all been bloody craving for years. Let me remind you about SM2 and H2M, two mods that had us frothing at mouth. They were set to bring back best bits of Call of Duty, with modern twists and all stuff we actually wanted. Not what some suit in a boardroom thought would pad bottom line. And what did Activision do? Shut them down faster than you can cease and desist. Why? Because they were scared, terrified even, that these mods would outshine the precious full price release. And that's where XDefiant steps in, like a phoenix rising from ashes, or all those mods we never got to play. This game doesn't just feel like a breath of fresh air, it feels like community finally getting its hands on tools to create a game we've always wanted. You've got fast-paced action, customizable loadouts, and unique factions. Hell, you've even got attitude. XDefiant is what CoD would have evolved into if it hadn't been bogged down with corporate greed. Now I know some of you are gonna say, but it's not a mod, it's a full game. And yeah, you're right, but it's got modest spirit. It's got that stick-it-to-the-man attitude, the same one that made those CoD mods so damn appealing in first place. It's unpolished, sure, it's got rough edges, but that's exactly what makes it exciting. It's not trying to be perfect, it's trying to be fun. And isn't that what gaming's supposed to be about? XDefiant is modder's dream come to life. It's a game made for players, not shareholders. It's middle finger to corporate suits who think they know what's best for us. And if you ask me, that's reason enough to support it. We might not be able to bring back golden age of mods, but we can back a game that carries that torch forward. So are you going to sit there and keep playing whatever overpriced DLC Activision slaps together next? Or are you going to get behind a game that actually gives a damn about what you want? Choice is yours. But if you're like me, fed up with same old shite, then XDefiant is game you should be supporting. Now then, you've stuck around this long, so either you're a masochist or you actually give a damn about what's next for XDefiant. Either way, I'm glad you're here, because we've got to talk about future, both for this game and for gaming in general. Spoiler alert, I'm not pulling any punches. Ubisoft has laid out a roadmap for XDefiant, full of new content, seasonal events and updates. But let's be real here. Roadmaps are as good as toilet paper if devs don't follow through. We've seen it happen before. Promises made, promises broken. So what's different this time? Well, for one, Ubisoft seems to actually be listening. Shocking, I know. Look, it's easy to be cynical. Hell, I've made a career out of it. But there's something refreshing about how Ubisoft's handling XDefiant. They're engaging with community, they're making changes based on feedback, and they're not pretending game's perfect. They know it's a work in progress, and they're treating it like one. That's something we don't see too often these days. But here's the thing, whether XDefiant sinks or swims depends on us, players. If we want a game that evolves, that grows with us, then we've got to support it. That means giving constructive feedback, not just whining on Reddit about your favourite gun getting nerfed. It means getting involved, staying engaged, and yeah, calling out devs when they screw up. But most importantly, it means recognising that we're part of this process, not just passengers on ride to nowhere. Gaming ain't just about game anymore, it's about community, experience, journey. XDefiant might not be CoD killer some of you hope for, but it's something else entirely. It's a game that feels like it's ours. And that's rare in today's landscape of corporate control cash grab titles. Here's my final thought. Whether XDefiant becomes mainstay or fades into obscurity, it ain't just up to Ubisoft. It's up to us. So are you going to stand by and let another game with potential get buried under weight of broken promises? Or are you going to roll up your sleeves and get involved? Future of this game, and maybe even future of gaming, depends on how you answer that question.
Cheese.